Hey folks, so quick introduction for those of you who haven't been to the channel before. My name is Jay. I am a longtime collector and reseller. Um, I started off on eBay in 1998. I've had a brick and mortar vintage store since, I don't know, 2000 and it's basically 17 years. So yeah, a long time. My parents were actually collectors and did a bit of dealing back in the day too. So I've been doing this for, I got dragged along to every collectible show and antique shop all over the eastern United States and southern Ontario and Quebec and places like that. Pretty much my whole life. I would say probably a good well over 40 years now. And this one today is just going to be about a recent trip that my better half and I took to the Goodwill Bins. And for those of you who don't know, the Goodwill Bins is basically an outlet store where the stuff that, excuse me, the stuff that didn't sell at the retail outlets gets sent back there, and it's essentially thrown in these giant bins, which are fairly well organized and rotated on roughly around 15-20 minutes uh, of stuff. And you buy it by the pound. I can't remember offhand what the pricing is right now. I'll look and then probably put that in the description there. And yeah, it also, because this location gets raw donations mixed in there too, you can get some pretty decent stuff. In fact, and I've been going on about this now, uh, I don't know how long the streak is, but basically since I've been going to the bins, which is a couple of years now, I have basically walked away with at least one item that is worth on its own uh, around $100 Canadian, sometimes American, for my southern friends. Um, and this one I think is no different. Now, this one, the item that I have, and I will show you near the end, is kind of a wild card. I think it's well worth over that $100 mark, and I think it will easily sell for that. Um, but you never know. But I think I did okay regardless. The thing about the bins is every time I go, I find something decent. There's rarely a stray. It's getting harder. You don't get as much stuff, and there are a lot more people that are looking now. Um, so yeah. So I'll start off. Generally, I do okay. I pick up some toys, and this one was no exception again. Not a great set, but I love these little things. This is a crystal radio set. Comes in the box. It is complete with the instructions. Admittedly, the box is pretty beat up. This probably was a raw donation, just by the looks of it, because it's fairly well taken care of. Um, and for those who don't know, crystal radio sets back in the days, this is probably mid 50s. Kids could build their own little radio. And this is what it was, and it probably, sparked a lot of kids' interest in like electronics and engineering that went on later to do probably amazing things. So these were great sets. I'm not going to take it apart, but I am going to just move the instructions out of the way, or maybe I'm not. I'm not going to do that because I'll probably end up ruining it further. But it's all there. It's a great little set. Cool thing. Probably around 25 bucks, maybe 30. I haven't done full comps on any of this stuff yet, but that's what I figure that's worth because of the condition and the completeness of it. So yeah. Surprisingly, I actually got records. Records is one thing that used to show up a lot. Now it doesn't as much, and everybody there is looking for them. So when they show out, it's a bit of a free-for-all. But I got some okay titles. Not in the best condition cover-wise. Records are in fairly nice shape. And, bread and butter stuff with a few interesting things. Obviously, a Billie Holiday record. Marvin Gaye, again, the cover not in the best of shape. It's pretty good anthology. Best of Bread. Somebody has written their name and scribbled it out on some of these. Average White Brand. Again, nothing special here. These are just, bread and butter that I sell in my store all day. So it's a UK Rod Stewart, Billy Joel's Piano Man, Rufus with Shaka Khan, Nilsson. This is a little harder to find. Taj Mahal. There's another Taj Mahal there. Grand Funk. Elton John, Joni Mitchell, soundtrack from Cruising, which is kind of a bit of a new wavy punk thing, if I recall from it. Yeah, I'll have to look into that more. Gina X, another Gina X, which I think were French, Canadian based, sort of early electronic band. John Mayall. And this is kind of interesting. Anthology of British Blues. It's got like Page and Clapton, Jeremy Spencer's on there, the Dharma Blues Band, John Mayall. It's all good. And then one of my personal favorites is pretty much anything Glenn Gould touched was gold. So that's going to be a fun little box set to go through. This just happened to be in there and I grabbed it. It is an old school, I don't know what you'd call it really, but it would have been like a receipt pad thing. And you can see on there, it's early. It's got little crowns on there and patent number, but I can't read what the patent is on there. I think it says 1890. And basically you would put your receipts and things like that over those, hold it down, you had a little snap holder on there. But people use these now just as straight up writing boards, which is, you know, with a bit of a cool factor added in there, which is kind of nice. So again, remember, I'm buying this stuff by weight, so not a lot of expense in it. I didn't keep the receipt, unfortunately, but I know I didn't spend much more than like 30, God, who am I kidding, 20 bucks maybe for all of this. It didn't weigh very much at all. This is a set made in Hong Kong, so it's probably late 70s. Disney, jumbo Disney cards. I checked, they're all there. Not worth a huge amount of money, about 15, 20 bucks, but still. This would have been fantastic. Unfortunately, it's a Ferris wheel, basically, but it's the Winnie the Pooh Ferris wheel, and it's from the Sheen company. Made out of the USA. It is lithograph tin, and it winds up and plays a little too long. Unfortunately, some of the plastic chairs are broken off, which doesn't surprise me because the bins are a bit rough. That's the only thing. Delicate stuff doesn't do well in there, but the paint on this is in really good shape. And just as somebody who's a Winnie the Pooh fan or a Disney fan at all, this would just be a great shelf sitter. Really nice piece overall. Again, shocked to actually find that in there. And it's probably 1960s. Again, I haven't done a lot of research yet on all this stuff, but that's my best guess on that just from seeing similar things over the years. This is kind of cool. I was really hoping this was going to be filled with like games, but it unfortunately isn't. But just on its own, lately anything, sorry about the terrible handheld camera work, but lately anything that is labeled PlayStation or any vintage video game stuff, the prices have gone up. It's just a little holder, would have been for your CDs. You could take them over to your buddy's place and hang out there. But it's just a cool little thing. Also, if you want to keep your CDs for your car in there, do they even have CD players in cars anymore? I don't know. It's been so long since I bought a new car. So, an original Ninja Turtle, 89, I believe. 88. There you go. Yeah, it's Raphael. And again, you find stuff like this still occasionally in there. It's not like some great bonanza. There have been days where that does show up, but you know, just to find one, and it is, I believe, the soft head, which I think, if I recall correctly, my Ninja Turtle lore isn't up to speed as it used to be, but I think that's the first generation of the 88s that came out. So that's kind of cool to have. I might actually have pretty close to a set of accessories, weapons, swords, the rack and everything kicking around, so that'll all together. This is more personal stuff for me. Picked up a Great Strokes record, CD, sorry. This Chet Baker DVD, which is amazing. And probably my favorite thing there is this Leonard Cohen book of poetry and notebooks. Actually, one of the few Cohen books that I didn't have, so that was great. Again, if I was going to buy that, it would have been like 30 bucks back in the day, and I probably paid less than, well, I know I paid less than $1 for it. So again, the bins, if you're a collector, it's a great place to go. If you're a reseller, it's still a pretty good place to go, although it's getting harder. My wife does clothing and vintage clothing, and she always comes home with like $150 worth of like bulk clothing that she buys. So she's, you know, happy with going there. That's why we can both go and spend a day. And yeah, but the one thing that I did find, because I was getting worried, I thought, oh man, I didn't get anything great super this time. I don't think you know, the streak was over. I thought, not so, because I came across this. Now, I will tell everybody this. Check, although 90% of the time you're going to strike out, but check early yearbooks. This one I recognized was from the St. Mike's boys' school in Toronto. It was Catholic boys' school in Toronto. Now, the fame of St. Mike's is that, for the most part, it was essentially a minor league team that supplied players to the Toronto Maple Leafs all through the 50s and 60s. Their junior A teams and senior A teams were usually packed with stars or future stars. And this one in particular, turns out, I just thought, you know what, I'll flip through it. Why not? And I was shocked to find, I actually did mark the pages ahead of time. So the first one that I came across in here was Richard Duff. Oh, that's Dick Duff. Yeah, the guy who went on to play for the Leafs, and I believe played for Montreal for a little while. I don't know if he made it to the Hall of Fame or not, probably, but I know he did win a cup with the Leafs. So that's kind of good. I haven't gone through this with a fine-tooth comb yet. I just sort of have shown some of the highlights. Okay, where are we looking here? Sorry, probably have thing right on there. Somewhere on here. There he is. F. Mahovlich. Yeah, that's Frank Mahovlich. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Definitely played for the Leafs. Definitely, I think he captained the Leafs, and he won several cups. There is Dick Duff there, who would also go on. And I think Pete Mahovlich is in here someplace too. No, I thought it was something. Kenny Linsman, right there too as well. Another great hockey player. I mean, it's, yeah, it's a pretty great yearbook to have. So this is like super period. The great thing about it is here's the pictures of the guys. There's Ken Linsman. There's Frank, great action shot. There's Dick Duff on the defense line there, I believe. And yeah, it's great. Here's another one here too, which is basically the whole team, and you can see through there all the different players on there. Am I holding that right? There you go. There he's there, all smiles. No idea what's coming. One of the best careers. My goodness. And there are a few other pictures of them in here. I think there's one, because there's all kinds of the different, that's the thing, I haven't checked all the other younger hockey teams to see if there's anybody else who's a future some sort of Hall of Famer. There's Frank right there. There he is again. So yeah. Now, as to value, I don't know. I've sold some yearbooks with like minor celebrities in them, and they all seem, you can basically, if it's anybody decent, you're going to get around $100 for a decent one. If it's like a superstar, it goes, the sky's the limit. I can't imagine what a Gretzky yearbook would go for, if that even exists. I don't know, I've never seen one, but I can't imagine a lot of these have survived over the years. And I can't imagine that a lot of people, you know, would have kept them over the years or recognized that, hey, this is some value in it because there is an important hockey player in there, and put it aside. I doubt the ones that are still out there, half the people even know the significance of them. So yearbooks are a thing. Now, it is tedious. You have to flip through. But generally what I do is I will go look at the drama club to see if there were any actors. I will go and flip to through the sports teams really quick to see if there's anything that stands out. And in this case, yeah, I got lucky. Again, value, I don't know. This one I'm just going to probably end up sticking an auction and seeing what happens, because you just never know. You get 2 or 3 people who want like a pre-rookie of Frank Mahovlich, you know, a future NHL Hall of Famer, and one of the probably considered to be one of the best Toronto Maple Leafs to have ever played. although I'm sure people will argue with me on that. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Again, probably cost me less than $1 because it was done by weight, and it went in with all these books and media things. So yeah, so that's it. Like I said, not a spectacular filled with, thousands of dollars worth of stuff, but it was a fun day out. The wife and I got to go have a dig. And if you're like me, nobody gets into this. Well, some people get into it now for money, but nobody got into the collectibles business for money back in the day. And you did it, for me personally, it's just about the hunt. And that's what that whole place is about. It's the hunt, it's finding things that, unexpected bargains like that, or just really cool stuff that you're picking up for a song. And it kind of reminds me of like the old days when I first started out doing this, where that was pretty much everywhere you went. Not so much anymore, but yeah, it's still there occasionally. So hope this gives some people a little bit of motivation. Get out there, have a dig, hit the bins, go to your garage sales, do all your stuff, because you never know what's waiting at the next one. All right. If you guys dig this stuff, if you could tell a friend about the channel, that'd be great. And yeah, if you want to subscribe, that's cool too. You don't have to. I mean, I don't put this stuff up there. I'm not monetized and probably won't be anytime soon. I do this just more for me to look back on the cool stuff I got, and, to share it with other people. Sure, I'm flexing a bit. All right. Have yourselves a good weekend or week. I don't know where you're at when you're watching this. So hope you find some cool stuff. Bye.